Brian Lara, Sachin Tendulkar, two of the very, very best.
You never saw either of them. Let's not pretend you know any of
I saw Sachin. Brian Lara, never heard of him until about a couple of years ago. I'm joking.
become an
obviously.
IPL
I'm
coach.
joking, obviously. I actually interviewed Brian Lara once and asked him about, when he scored about 790,000 runs against England in one innings. And Steve Harmison is absolutely adamant that he nicked him off. I asked him about that, like in a real jokey kind of way. Like, Harmy's convinced you nicked off for no runs that game. He was fuming with me. He looked at me with utter disgust. How dare you say that? I got nowhere near it. And
If it makes you feel better, I interviewed him recently and he slightly misunderstood one of my questions. Yeah. And suddenly you're like, geez, I can see the competitor. When he clicks on, you're just like, geez, I wouldn't want to upset this guy at all.
It was a real light-hearted opening, little joke that he nicked off on zero.
Gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. And he was not happy. So I think for the purpose of this conversation, Harmy, he didn't nick off. You didn't get him out for a duck. Lara or Tendulkar?
So he's going to pick Lara. And
you've done too many of these shows together, haven't you? Where's Harmy?
So I think, having spoken to whatever it was, 70 different test batters about who the best batters are of all time, the vast majority said that Lara was better than Tendulkar, right? But what they said was Tendulkar would get up for every single game, every single day, and be professional. I think Rahul Dravid put it best to me. He said he organised his entire life around batting, and Lara didn't. There was about a 3 or 4 year period where Lara was enjoying being famous and living the life and going out and doing other things. Lara's talked about that as well, and there was a huge dip in his average for a few years as well. And then he went, oh, actually, and then suddenly became great again. If Lara wanted to play the best innings of all time tomorrow, he probably had the ability to do that, and he could play at a level that Tendulkar didn't play at. So the real question here is, do you want someone who plays at 24 years and gives it your absolute best and is going to be a great batter, or do you want someone who can possibly make 500, 400, or 375 and do it in a stylish way that you're never ever going to forget? You have to decide as a human being.
I think the first one, though, right?
What's up to you, Ellard?
Yeah, well,
I would have thought you'd pick Lara. I'm a bit surprised you've gone with Tendulkar after that.
No, but if you're saying it's Lara or the consistency over so many years of Sachin, I would go Sachin, yeah.
Okay. He's going to go Lara.
Yeah. Correct. There we go. He's got a catch up in 2 minutes anyway, so he's got no interest in doing this conversation, do you?
I mean, fabulous players.
Yeah, of course.
But, as I've said many times, it get me on the edge of my seat, and that would be Brian Lara. And his competitive nature. I've seen him on a dance floor, Brian Lara. He's competitive there. Generous, inviting us round to his house in Trinidad.
Yeah.
He and Atherton were schoolboys playing against each other, and that's a massive friendship. I've been around with golf things with him and Dwight York. Them two are inseparable.
Really?
Loves his golf. And so I'm going to go Brian Lara. Get me on the edge of my seat. Send me home with a memorable innings over 2 days, probably. Get a shed full of runs. I mean, I can see now Gareth Batty. I can see Gareth Batty coming in, going like that, and go, whoa, no. Well,
I really saw neck, didn't you, Batty?
Well, I was behind there commentating, and it's going right over us. And it seemed that I'll hit this one, I think. No, I'll not hit this one. I'll hit this one, I think. Yeah.
Brett Lee talked about bowling to both of them. And he said
that
he bowled the top of off stump to Sachin Tendulkar, and he'll hit everything to mid-off or middle perfectly. Front elbow up, bang. This one's slightly outside off stump, it goes to mid-off. This one's slightly inside off stump, it's going to mid-on. And he said you bowl the same 6 balls to Brian Lara, and he decides where he wants to hit them. And I don't know if you know the full... Well, apparently you'd never heard of Brian Lara before today.
That was a joke, by the way.
Brian Lara, when he was a kid, used to play this game in his shed, like a driveway... shed type situation, and they would put pot plants him and his brother around, and they would ping the ball at each other really fast, and you went out if you hit a pot plant. And so he practiced picking the gaps in this incredible way. And there's an innings, you might have even been the coach, I think it was in the 90s it was either Old Trafford or Trent Bridge, where he makes 100, and I think Athers was captain, and Athers almost has the entire of England country on the offside boundary.
And he's still picking gaps.
And you have a look at the wagon wheel, and it's from third man to extra cover. It's just, I've hit one here, now I hit one here, now I hit one here. Yeah. And it looks like he's drawing the map rather than batting. And, his ability to see a ball coming and go, oh, I'll just hit this one a little bit late. Most people like, and even someone like Sachin, the ball comes down to them and they're like, we're just trying to hit it, right? Someone like Lara is like, I'm just gonna hit this one slightly later so it goes to the left of this guy.
Ability. Yeah.
It's so special. So for me, I always thought, and nothing has changed my mind, that Lara wasn't a more talented batter all round than Tendulkar. But let's go to Tendulkar for a minute. This is a guy who every single day was like, I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be, and I'm going to make as many runs as possible. And it wasn't like he didn't take risks or anything. I mean, compared to Lara, he wasn't like a daredevil. But Tendulkar would come down the wicket and hit Shane Warne out of the rough on the leg side over covers for 6, right? Like he would play shots like that. He would attack. He was a really attacking player in one-day cricket. Probably a better player than Lara in one-day cricket, just because he cared a lot more about it. So he was really exciting and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got the fact that he started at 16. I can only imagine what a mess of a human being Sam Ellard must have been at 16. And he's out there playing.
I'm a mess of a human being at 27.
Yeah,
like 16.
And he's out there playing Test cricket at that age.
Yeah.
And then he's a Test cricketer playing 24 years later.
And carrying a nation.
Yeah, carrying a whole nation. The pressure of that.
Yeah.
And I looked this up once. He's got the best record of any teenager ever. And he's got, I think, the second or the third best record of anyone over the age of 35, right? So he managed that consistency all the way through. And Lara was an artist and Sachin is a technician, right?
Yeah, go on.
Trying to perfect everything all the way through. And as I said before, it really depends on what you like as a cricketer. His 3 favourite batters, and I'm putting words in his mouth, Sobers, Richards and Lara. And that's because they just changed things in an instant, and they played the game.
Kevin Peterson for England. Kevin Peterson.
All those sorts of guys.
Changed the game.
That's what gets Bumble out of bed in the morning, right? That's what excites him. He's 403 years old.
I guess.
Literally, he gets him out of bed. But Bumble,
all 3 of them lifting you out of bed to put you in your cornflakes, Bumble.
But he's seen
You're not far wrong, actually.
he's seen more deliveries of cricket than anyone ever has, and it's that sort of thing that still excites him, right?
Yeah.
But then you compare that with everything that Sachin had to do, so you have to pick one. I think if I think about it from a cricket perspective of if I pick Sachin Tendulkar, I've got 24 years of someone averaging 50, and I never have to worry about him ever again. He's just going to do his job. Whereas I think with Lara, I'm like, do I have to go and find him from a nightclub? Does he want to play today? Is he excited about playing Zimbabwe? Probably not, right? So I think I have to motivate him a little bit different, and I don't get quite the same amount of years. But I think that Lara is probably, and this is a big call, on pure talent, the most talented batter since Bradman.
Finally, Bumble. Any issues with that statement there? Right.
No.
Big mic drop to finish with Jarrod right at the end.
Why do I choose Lara? Because I'm a gambler by instinct. I'm a gambler. And I'd like the gamble. I'd get good odds.
Who would you pick?
Joe Root.
And that's gone.
Have you dapped Sachin Tendulkar?
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.